Welcome back to the show, everybody. Check out these headlines we have for you. We have Brad Garlinghouse dropping fire, XRP ETFs, oh my goodness. And guess what else we got? Anthony Pompliano on Fox, and you're not going to believe this next statement. He's right? Yeah, I know. I feel weird about it too. Somebody wrote out a beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show. You can follow us on Twitter and YouTube for exclusive content. Right now, it's $2.04 trillion market cap for crypto. The market's off by 2.2%, 51,100 plus for Bitcoin, 2,900 plus for Ethereum. It is 97.5 billion plus for the market cap for Tether. XRP now at the number 6 spot is 54 cents and currently falling like a manhole cover from the sky. We're off by 5.8 in the 24 and we're up 1.9 in the 7-day. We'll keep an eye on it. Right now, the range of price, just so you can see a clear reflection here, it is 53 cents on the bottom, 57 on the top. We're sitting almost 54 flat. So you can see that we've been falling, obviously, pretty steady right here in the last 24. We'll keep an eye on it. You know, we have had technical analysts here tell us that they saw a little more potential for a downside before we get to see these large pushes to the upside that have been shown on these charts for so long. So we'll see what unfolds, right? We don't know. We'll have to watch it to find out, and I'm ready. I want to see. I want to remind you guys that XRP Las Vegas VIP tickets dangerously close to selling out. If you want a 2-day VIP ticket, you can get that, but not for much longer. It will be gone. And I just quickly want to say, so very excited that we've got so many amazing people. We've got Purist that is going to be participating at XRP Las Vegas as well, building the EVM bridge to the XRP ledger. Super, super exciting. And don't miss the fireside chat with David Schwartz, where he's going to be talking about all of the amazing, ever-expanding XRP ledger and all of the new features that will be coming and the things that are most exciting to him in the future. And I want you to think about the fact that, listen, come buy the 2-day ticket, make the investment. It's an investment. Look, there's so many new things coming to the features coming to the XRP ledger. What you could learn could change what you know about what it is you're actually holding. And that is the best way to move forward, is with the most knowledge you can gain. Why not get it from the source? Take and make the investment in yourself. Come for the 2 days. Let me tell you something. It is a remarkable experience. You will leave so uplifted and fulfilled from everything and everyone that you meet and engage with. I'm telling you, it is a remarkable time. You'll come away from it wishing, why can't every day of the year be this way? It's no joke. It is super, super exciting and engaging. You should make the investment in yourself and come. Simon McLaughlin, Kevin Maloney, Honorable Chris Giancarlo from the Digital Dollar Project. How important is it going to be to hear from him or Perry Ann Boring, who's working right now to stop Elizabeth Warren and her campaign to gut crypto in the United States? And that's why this is even important here, because now we've got the one and only field general. John Deaton is in fact running for Senate. And make no mistake, he is a difference maker. And you can donate, as I did yesterday, johndeatonforsenate.com. He needs our help. And you know what? And so does this country. And I think we all know that John Deaton is just the kind of person we need on Capitol Hill. Let's make it happen. Sean McBride, ex-Google, ex-Amazon, ex-Rippler, says you will see an XRP ETF in 24-25 and says you will also see, he believes, an IPO for Ripple outside the U.S. in 2025. Whoa! Okay. I like it. We're going to keep that one under the hat, but I like that. We'll watch out for that. I love Sean's energy when he's posting. He's got some really great comments and insights and energy, and I appreciate him for sharing it. Right here we have Pompliano, Anthony Pompliano, the Bitcoiner, right? Let's listen to this, because I was just as shocked as you are he's got 7 minutes here, and it's all solid. I got to be honest. But we're going to listen to 3 minutes of it, and it's 3 minutes you need because there's something extremely important that I can't even believe it, that Anthony Pompliano is right about here. And I know, I feel odd too, but let's listen.
Cryptocurrencies,
Shout out to Anthony.
Look at this. Over the past year, the price of the tokens has rocketed. Bitcoin doubling, up 113.3%. Ethereum climbing 74%. And XRP, up a measly 42%.
Yeah,
so what's
all.
the next catalyst? It could be the Bitcoin halving event 1 month from today, or 2 months from today, I should say. But my question is it buy the rumor, sell the news? So Bitcoin is coming up so much into that event, then it sells off after.
My quick question is how much would we be up in gains on XRP if we didn't have this erroneous lawsuit hanging over our heads?
We ask Anthony Pompliano, Pump Investments investor, in a Fox Business exclusive. What do you think of my theory?
So Bitcoin halving definitely matters. If you go back to economics class, anytime that you have something that happens in the market that everyone either doesn't know about or doesn't have the same opinion on, it's obviously going to have an impact. What we've seen is a demand shock with ETFs, so lots of capital is pouring in, and now we're going to have a supply shock. Right now, there's 900 Bitcoin a day that come into the market. When the halving occurs, we're going to go down to 450 Bitcoin per day. So naturally, if you have tons of demand and you have a decreasing incoming supply, the price has to go up to accommodate everyone. And we've seen this happen over and over and over again. I think that it may be less of a percent move, but in aggregate dollars, it will still be very, very meaningful over the coming 18 months.
So how high does the price go?
Look, historically, Bitcoin's price has gone up hundreds of percent. I wouldn't be shocked if Bitcoin went over $100,000 in the next 18 months. But also, I think that the ground is moving a little bit. There's a lot of different things that are occurring. New types of investors are coming into the market. There's new investment
Who are the
vehicles.
new types of investors? Because of this... okay.
Bitcoin is now one of the favorite assets of any Wall Street investor. If you think about it, Wall Street investors have been suffering returns because they can't keep up with the indexes in the equity market. They now have the ability to put a little bit of Bitcoin. They can go buy a Bitcoin ETF and put 1 to 3% of their equity portfolio into it. And now that will juice their returns and hopefully help them compete against that index. On top of that, you now have them able to allocate capital to what's been the best performing asset for the last 15 years. Yeah. Wall Street, the smartest investors in the world, the biggest capital pools in the world, they've been boxed out from the best investment in the world. Retail investors got to front run these people, and they're ready to allocate. And that's what we're seeing, $10 billion flow into the ETFs.
November 2021, Bitcoin record high, 69,000. When does Bitcoin hit 69,000? Again.
Short-term price is almost impossible to predict. My guess is that we will see somewhere around there before the end of this year.
This year. Okay.
Something like that.
And then when does it go to 100?
I think that the halving is really this meaningful moment. And what we've seen historically is there's been 3 prior times where the halving occurs, and within 18 months, we have a new all-time high. Historically, though, when we've hit that halving, we haven't been at a new all-time high price yet. What we've been watching right now is these ETF flows are driving the price higher. We're now at $52,000. We were at $42,000 when the ETFs actually got approved. And so if this continues, there's a chance we could be near an all-time high. I don't know if we'll be at the all-time high, but we could be closer to an all-time high when the halving occurs, and that would be unprecedented in that
So
case.
Gary Gensler at the SEC, definitely solid for your industry, right? I mean, the spot Bitcoin ETF working in investors' favor. Do you think he'll do the same thing and approve a spot Ether ETF?
I don't see that happening at the next time that he can do it, which is in Q2 of this year. I think eventually they're going to have to approve not only Bitcoin, not only Ether, but many of these. And it's just going to become, if you go back to the 90s, people used to talk about internet companies. Now we talk about companies. Same thing I think is going to happen here. People are just going to talk about these assets. And it's not going to be, crypto, that's weird thing in the corner. It's just going to be this mainstream thing. And so they'll all get ETFs.
But play this.
There it is right there. There it is right there. Haven't I been saying we're going to see ETFs for all of crypto? That's what's happening. So then the question becomes, so I think, as far as I'm concerned, Pomp's got it right there. And not because he agrees with me. I just think that that's accurate. Because you have to start asking yourself, will they, is the obviously the ETFs, just like there's gold ETFs, oil ETFs, there's products on top of commodities all the time. This is not new, right? It's new for crypto, and it's exciting. And I think we see these ETFs for all these cryptos, and then baskets, of cryptos, where you'll have like index ETFs, right? Where it's a collection of different top 10 ETF basket for crypto. I definitely think you're going to see that too, right? I mean, multiple different kinds of products. Now, What's interesting to me here is we have to start wondering, but will they allow the exchanges to remain in the U.S.? Or are there someone like the Elizabeth Warrens in the world trying to make the ETFs the only way to get exposure to this asset? You have to watch what some of these people on the Hill are doing, and we'll get into that in a later video today, so don't miss that as well. But look, let's stay on task here when it comes to ETFs. Oh my gracious here. This is a fantastic interview. We're going to listen to the first half of this because it's so relative to the ETF question. How about an ETF for XRP? How about we let Brad Garlinghouse answer it? Good idea. Let's get this going right now.
Gary Gensler last week with Wall Street Week's David Weston, and we're going to discuss the companies that have tangled with the SEC. With one major company now, Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse joins us here in studio. It's worth kind of going back to your case with the SEC first, because you are far along, and as we sit here today on February 20th, how would you describe how the dispute has changed?
Well, look, I think for whatever reason, the SEC decided to make Ripple their first major case around this. And look, the reality prior to the case, we had been advocating for more clarity around the rules and regulations. And the good news has been other countries around the world have leaned into that and codified what should the rules and regulations, what's unique about crypto that needs to be changed. The SEC, frankly, has just hired more litigation that, what we call regulation through enforcement, and really just started suing lots of people. And what's unfortunate is they have lost consistently. They lost the Ripple case on everything they cared about. I mean, even the soundbite you just had up, your Chair Gensler is saying that a lot of these are securities. What the courts have said in the cases they have brought, and certainly the case with Ripple and the token XRP, the court determined that XRP is not in and of itself a security.
When do you think that this will finally no longer be an overhang for you guys? You're one of many companies that are fighting the SEC at this point in time, but when can you call this an all clear? And do you think that this will make it so far as to reach higher courts?
Great question.
Well, hard to predict whether it's going to reach higher courts. On everything we cared about, we won against the SEC.
Tell 'em.
Will the SEC appeal and move it up the courts? We'll see. They sought approval to do what's called an interlocutory appeal. The courts denied that also. The case against me personally and Chris Larson personally was dismissed entirely with prejudice. So, look, from my point of view, the SEC has lost consistently. They lost the Grayscale case. I think if you're following the Coinbase case, the tone from the judge is, I think, pretty skeptical about some of the SEC's arguments. It stops, I think, when the SEC either realizes they're losing consistently, or you have Congress lean in and write new legislation. That's probably going to be hard in an election year. Maybe we'll see legislation around stablecoins this year, but I'm hopeful, and we'll continue to advocate in Washington.
Well, you mentioned the Grayscale case, Brad, and it's Kaylee in Washington. Obviously, that was pretty instrumental in ultimately the SEC granting approval to not just Grayscale's conversion to a spot ETF, GBTC that is, but spot Bitcoin ETFs more broadly. I'm sure you've seen there's buzz out there about potentially an XRP ETF being in the future. What do you make of that speculation?
Well, Kaylee, good to see you. I think it only makes sense there will be other ETFs. It's a little like, in the earliest days of the stock market, you don't really want exposure to one stock or one company. You want to typically think about diversifying risk and what have you. And so I think we will see other ETFs. When we will see them is hard to predict. The sad reality of what we saw with the Bitcoin ETF is it was only because the courts forced the SEC's hand, and really Chair Gensler's hand, that we saw that finally come to fruition. And look, in my opinion, it makes these markets safer. It makes them more robust.
Bingo.
And so this is good for the investment community to kind of lean into that.
So you would welcome an XRP ETF then?
Listen,
we would certainly welcome it, and I think it's inevitable that there'll be, multiple ETFs around different tokens. And I think you'll even see ETFs potentially around baskets that also, I think, further diversify that risk.
There we go. Now we got Pomp. Now we got Garlinghouse. They all see the same thing unfolding. This is exciting to me because we're starting to see what this market looks like as it takes shape. inside a regulatory framework, which ETFs already have a framework. There's nothing to suss out with ETFs. The only thing they have to do is just approve them, which they're going to start doing in mass, I believe. It's going to be remarkable to watch the next year or two unfold here, because we are watching the entire asset class as we've understood it begin to be birthed into traditional financial markets. This is a super exciting moment. I mean, I am geeking out hard over here.
Given there's so much excitement around the ETF dynamic here, are you in talks with the largest issuers, particularly BlackRock, to get this done?
All right,
well,
now.
I'm not going to comment on that. I know BlackRock has said some things publicly.
Listen, at 52, when it's a no, it's just a no, isn't it? It's simple. No, we're not talking to BlackRock. But if you are and you can't talk about it and you don't want to lean in and say anything, you got to give this kind of an answer. This gets even more exciting.
We think it makes sense for the XRP community overall.
We do too.
Ripple obviously is a very important stakeholder in the XRP ecosystem, but we're not the only player.
That's right.
And look, we've seen, before the SEC lawsuit, XRP was the second most valuable digital asset. I think because of the headwinds of that lawsuit, we've now seen that largely abate. But the long-term view on these things is about, how do you create utility and really solve real-world problems with these different digital assets? Bitcoin's doing that very well as a store of value. XRP and its dynamics around being very fast, very efficient, and low cost on a per transaction basis makes it ideal for payments. And that's where Ripple really has leaned into as a company.
And when you think about the new features like pathfinding, auto bridging, automated market makers, clawbacks, which have already been brought to the ledger, think about what these things do. They enhance the ability to serve the payments market in a more efficient manner. I know. I'm super geeking out, and I hope you are too. And just as Chad Steingraber says right here, he's got it spot on here. This is exactly right. We've literally talked about the derivatives market being the end game for XRP for years. ETFs are the derivatives market. He's absolutely spot on. Not to mention that we belong to ISDA, the International Swaps and Derivatives Association, to help the Depository Trust Clearing Corporation settle over $2 quadrillion worth of derivatives as well. So I like where we're at right now. I know a lot of people are frustrated. The crypto winter, the price is down. I'm a fundamentals guy, and as long as I keep seeing them, I keep getting excited. That's how it works for me. I'm not selling a used car, and this ain't financial advice. This is just my digital perspectives. We're heading into the freedom zone, ladies and gentlemen. You want to support the channel, you can do so easily and for almost nothing at digitalperspectives.com. And today we're going to get into some material that touches on exactly what's in front of us when it comes to the financial markets. And we're getting into that right now, right here at digitalperspectives.com in the Freedom Zone. Come on in.